प्लीज आप लोग बुरा मत मानिए, मुझे ये थोड़ा सा बुरा लगा, ये इंडिया मैप में हमारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट नहीं है। बाहर भी वहाँ लगा हुआ है कि हमारे भारत का मैप को कट कर दिया, हम नॉर्थ ईस्ट वालों के लिए बहुत
नॉर्थ ईस्ट भी नहीं है। और एक चीज देन आई विल आल्सो पॉइंट आउट कि कश्मीर भी नहीं है, सो प्लीज मेक श्योर।
India's boxers had just pulled off their best ever Commonwealth Games campaign, 10 medals, 7 golds. So naturally, there was reason to celebrate. The team headed out for dinner at an Indian restaurant in Glasgow. It should have been the perfect end to a historic campaign, except Olympic medalist Lovlina noticed something on the table. A map of India printed on a napkin, and the entire northeast was missing. Not just that, Jammu and Kashmir was missing too. Lovlina called it out. The restaurant apologized, and soon after, its Instagram account disappeared from public view. But this raises a larger question. Was this simply a badly designed logo that nobody had bothered to check? Or does it point to a much bigger problem with how India's map continues to be represented abroad? And why does a missing piece of map matter this much? So here's what happened in Glasgow first. India's boxing contingent had just wrapped up a historic Commonwealth Games campaign. To celebrate, the team went to Mr. Singh's India, the home of curry, a well-known Indian restaurant in the city that has hosted touring Indian teams and dignitaries. It was supposed to be a celebratory dinner. Then Lovlina spotted the map. The Assam-born boxer who won silver at these games noticed that the map of India printed on the restaurant's napkins did not show the northeast. And it wasn't hidden away somewhere. The same map was also displayed outside the restaurant. Lovlina raised the issue directly with the management. In a video that she posted later, she explained why it bothered her so much. For someone who comes from the northeast, seeing your own region simply disappear from the map of your country is bound to hit differently. Especially when you're sitting in an Indian restaurant with the Indian boxing team celebrating medals won for India. And then came another problem. Boxing Federation of India President Ajay Singh, who was also at the dinner, pointed out that the northeast wasn't the only part missing. Jammu and Kashmir wasn't shown either. According to reports, when Lovlina questioned the restaurant management, she was told that this was a British map and that was why these regions were missing. But that explanation quickly raised more questions, because this wasn't simply a batch of napkins that had been printed incorrectly as a one-time. The same map was part of the restaurant's logo. It appeared on its signage, on its website, on its social media pages. In other words, the incorrect map was built into the restaurant's branding. So this wasn't one printer making one mistake on one evening. The map had apparently been used repeatedly until an Olympic medalist from Assam happened to notice it over dinner. The restaurant, of course, issued an unconditional apology. Mr. Singh's India acknowledged that the map was incorrect and said it would immediately replace the logo with the correct map of India. Soon afterwards, its Instagram account disappeared from public view. But by then, the matter had gone beyond the restaurant. The Indian diplomatic mission in Scotland formally took note of the issue and expressed concern. Officials contacted the restaurant, sought an explanation. The restaurant in turn reportedly assured them that all material carrying the incorrect map would be withdrawn immediately. Now, you could look at all of this and say, fine, a restaurant got its map wrong, it apologized, end of story. Except this isn't happening in isolation. India has repeatedly pushed back against incorrect maps, and there have been several such instances recently. Just weeks ago, at a foreign policy seminar in Dhaka, an Indian diplomat interrupted a presentation after a map that showed Jammu and Kashmir as part of Pakistan. She objected immediately. The depiction, she said, was factually incorrect, that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. The organizers had to take note. Days later, India's embassy in Washington called out the New York Times after a headline referred to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as Pakistani Kashmir. The embassy described the wording as misleading and incorrect. India's position was clear. There is no Pakistani Kashmir, there is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which India maintains is territory under illegal occupation. And now Glasgow. Except this time, it wasn't an Indian diplomat raising the objection. It was an Olympic medalist from Assam looking at a napkin and asking a very basic question. Where is my part of India? 3 incidents, 3 countries, 3 completely different settings. But the response tells you something about how seriously India and Indians now treat these representations. When territorial boundaries are involved, maps become an issue of sovereignty. And whether that map appears at a diplomatic seminar, in an international newspaper, or on the logo of an Indian restaurant, India increasingly appears unwilling to simply ignore it. The episode also points to a wider question for international businesses, media organizations, and institutions. In an age where logos, graphics, and social media posts can travel around the world in seconds, how much responsibility should organizations take before publishing something as politically sensitive as a national map? Because India's response over the past few years suggests that the margin for error is shrinking. What do you think? Was this simply an innocent design mistake, or should businesses be held to a much higher standard when displaying national maps? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching Times Access.
If they had a nuclear weapon,
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologise again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
no tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy, and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare. And in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens.